Hello, we're in beautiful Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. Second night here, 2 nights in a row we did here, but it's the third night of the tour. So anyway, I'm gonna do a little rundown of the rig because it's the second night and my gear didn't have to get packed up and leave anywhere. It's all still set up, which is great. So we're just getting things mic'd up for sound check right now, and let's walk you through my rig. We'll start right here. Okay, so I use in-ear monitors, and for this particular setup, I have everything dropped into this coffin case, which is nice because then you just plug it in, close the lid, kind of thing. When it's time to pack up, close the lid, it's all done. Tama rhythm watch to get the tempo, and then this channel here has a feed of the live band. The click track goes here. I mean, everything's labeled so you can obviously read it. And then this is my headphone extension cable. All the cables I use, by the way, all three of these cables, these are Pig Hog cables. They're really, really, really durable, really nice and thick tubing on them and stuff like that. I like them. They last on the road. I use Ultimate Ears in-ear monitors. These are my UE11s.
Nick.
Yo! Oh, other Nick.
Nick too?
I am.
That's funny.
Other Nick, sorry. That Nick.
No, that's funny though.
That's other Nick.
Nick.
Okay. Here I have my charts because on this tour, Jason's got a new album out called Knives in the Dark, and it just came out last week. And because of that, we're playing a lot of new material. So I had to make some new charts for some of the new songs we're playing, you know, because we've only played them live 3 times now. So these are my charts that I'm reading on stage. And then here's the Palace right here. So I try to emulate the sound of the record as best I can. It's probably easiest if I do this. There we go. I try to emulate the sound of the record as best I can. The studio drummer on the record is the great Kenny Arnoff, and he makes my job very, very, very easy. It's a pleasure to play his recorded parts. And so it seemed like on this record he used a little bit more aggressive sounding drums. You know, he's of course got his Tama signature snare, which is kind of like a Ludwig Black Beauty. It's a 1mm brass shell with black chrome plating. He's often stated that he will use other snares, and if he brings 5 snares to a session, the Tama Bell Brass would always be one of them. And for that reason, I am using my Yamaha Bell Brass snare. This is a custom snare made just for me. It's very, very loud, very aggressive sounding. On Jason's last tour, I used a 1mm brass shell with a black plating on it. Also a Yamaha. And that was to kind of emulate Kenny's signature snare sound, to better emulate the records. But on this new record, the snare sounds a little more aggressive in places, so I'm thinking, I haven't actually asked him, but I'm thinking he may have used a bell brass on a few of these songs. Kenny also uses Zildjian new beat hi-hats, and he's been very vocal about that in many interviews, that he uses new beat hi-hats all the time. So I use Paiste cymbals, all Paiste 2002s most of the time for this stuff. And for this, they needed to be a little more aggressive. So I'm actually using a mixture of 2002s and 900s. For the 900s, to best get that new beat hi-hat sound, oh, we're sound checking, I have a 14-inch Sound Edge top, a 900 series Sound Edge top, which is a medium cymbal, and the bottom is a 900 heavy bottom. So it's got a nice heavy bottom and a medium top, just like the new beats. All right, we might have to pause this and come back to it later. Okay, we're back. We're done making noise for a minute. So, as I was saying before, I was talking about my hi-hats. Oh, they're over here. Things backwards. My hi-hats. I'm using, I was trying to emulate the sound that's on the recordings a little bit more. Normally I use 14-inch 2002 Sound Edge hi-hats. And in rehearsal, I mean, they're my favorite hi-hats in the world, and they sound beautiful. In rehearsal, they just weren't giving me that extra chunkiness that I needed. So I went with a medium weight 900 series Sound Edge top, because they have regular hats, Sound Edge hats, heavy hi-hats in the 900 series. The regular has a thin top, Sound Edge has a medium top, and the heavy has a heavy top. So I went with a medium top. And the bottom, I went with the heavy bottom. So that sort of gives you that Zildjian New Beat sort of chunk to it, but they're a little bit darker in tone. So I just think it blends well with the 3 guitars we have going on. We'll just go through cymbals for right now. So 14-inch mixed 900 hats. My first crash up here is a 19-inch 2002 crash. Over here, I have a 20-inch 900 series heavy crash. The other thing that Kenny does on a lot of these recordings is he likes to ride on a crash cymbal. And my normal crash cymbals of choices are thinner. I like thinner cymbals. Like the 2002 19-inch crash is a thinner cymbal. So again, it just wasn't giving me the body that I needed out of it to ride on all the time. So we went with a 900 series heavy crash. Over here is another 19-inch 2002 crash. So I have matching crashes on each side, right? Then here, yeah, Setlist, thank you. Here we have a 2002 22-inch power ride. It's my favorite Paiste ride cymbal. Nice big bell on it, because there's a lot of riding the bell stuff too. Got our set list for tonight. We're getting ready to do sound check now. All right, let's talk drums for a minute. I'm going to flip the camera for this one. Okay, so for drums, I already talked about the bell brass snare. It's a 6.5-inch depth on it, 14 head. I have an S hoop on the top, which helps keep my sticks lasting a little bit longer on the rim shots. The kit is my normal go-to Yamaha Live Custom, 100% oak shells. It's a first generation Live Custom, so they're nice, big, thick oak shells. I have a 12x8 tom. The kick drum is 18 depth, 24-inch head. We have a 16x15 floor and an 18x16 floor. I went with an extra floor tom on this tour just to give it a little bit more oomph for the big hits and stuff like that. I like hitting the bigger, deeper tom and really give it that extra oomph through the subs. All the hardware is Yamaha, including their new FP9 pedals. I have the FP9 right here, and the beater on there is a Rick Latham crystal ball beater. I've been loving this thing. I use a leather patch on here, so the acrylic against the leather is really, really nice. Inside you can see there's a Kick Pro, a weighted bass drum pillow in there. You can kind of see it a little bit on here. I got a suspension mount for the kick drum mic. So all the microphones on this are Audix. We have a D6 in the kick. The snare, we have an i5 on top, and I can't actually see what's on the bottom. Oh, that's not an Audix, that's a Sennheiser. That one's not mine. Over here on the hats, we have an F15. The tom, we have a D2, and on the floor toms, we have D4s. Normally, in the studio, I use D6s on my floor toms. They sound great, but live, I want the toms to cut through a little bit more. So going from a D6 to a D4 just gave it a little bit more attack. Of course, I'm using my signature head drumsticks, the 5ABC. So they're 16.25 inches long. I wrap the handles in grip tape, and the handle part down here is the same diameter as a regular 5B, and then the taper and the tip is the same as a 5A. So I get a little more rebound out of them, and they don't weigh as much. They're not top heavy or anything like that. They're weighted right in the middle. It's really nice. I'm going to do a whole video just on those sticks at one point. But let's take a look at this from the front now, real quick.
Sorry.
No, you're not in the way at all. I mean, you are, but no. I'm kidding.
Okay.
With this, I got just a straight stand for this crash, just to keep it low profile and out of the way. This one, this is a big heavyweight triple stand kind of thing, but I only use 2 of it. So I got the ride mounted off here, I got the crash on here, and then a big heavy counterweight on the end to keep it from tipping over with all the extra weight of these 2 really heavy. These are my 2 heaviest cymbals, so it would tip a lot. So with the extra counterweight, just holds it down. I decided to put the tom on a suspended individual stand this time. Normally I usually just mount it right off the kick, but for this I decided to go with a stand because I like to have my kick drum angled. So if you're looking at the front of the kit, the center is here. And you can see my kick is offset as if I have a double bass setup. It's just more comfortable this way, right? So dead center's right here, not over here, right there. And you can kind of see it better from this side too, where if I'm sitting dead center, you can see my throne's pointing right at the snare, right between the 2 pedals. So I'm facing this way, straight to the middle of the room, right? And my kick is offset that way. My hi-hats are offset that way, right? The throne I'm using is in a head spinal G. It's got this nice trench in here to help with avoiding spinal compression from sitting down. So, and that's the tour rig for Jason Charles Miller 2024 on tour with Steel Panther. All right. Thanks for watching.